Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my September budget. I did add a couple of new inserts to this budget as well, and I'll be going over that. So for this first page, it's kind of similar to what I did last month, except for payday. I decided to add whatever's going to be left over from the paycheck that we got August 24th into September. So hopefully that is what we that amount is what we end up with. And if anything, I'll just write it down. If anything changes, I'll write it down in the actual. And then for my categories, I did change it up a little bit this month. I tried not to have a miscellaneous category. I tried to put a name to everything. So for this month, I did groceries, which stayed the same, gas, my husband's allowance, my allowance, which I didn't give myself an allowance last month, Sam's Club, takeout, did one for laundry because that's how much usually, well, we typically spend less than that in the month, but that's how much I just budgeted for us. PTA, I did make a budget for because there's a couple of things that we have to, or not have to, but donation items and getting our sons and our spirit wear, so that's going to be tied into that. Debt snowball, I still plan on putting a little bit here and there towards our debt. And then last is Disneyland, which I think for the month of September we're only going to go once. And then at the bottom here, I just made myself a little note because of the results of last month, or August. Put beware of impulse buying, which can be brought on by stress or the I owe it to myself syndrome that I got from Dave Ramsey. So, and then moving on to the next one, September budget for the week stayed the same, or not for September, but the layout that I carried over from August to September stayed the same. So week 1, 2, 3, and 4. With the amount spent here, what we have remaining, and then any notes on the side, because sometimes if you have any like last minute spending or some miscellaneous spending, at least I could make a note on there. And then something new that I added for this month is our sinking fund, and I've never really thought about doing this. We do have an emergency fund, but this is totally different. So the emergency fund, which is baby step number 1 in the Dave Ramsey, the baby steps by Dave Ramsey, we do have $1,000 in there, which we are really trying not to touch. So I decided to just go ahead and create a sinking fund for things that come up, that we know that's going to come up, which isn't an emergency, which I used to think was an emergency, but it really isn't. So the categories that I have so far here is home, car maintenance and repair, Christmas this year, my mother-in-law's party, and what else do I have? Oh, and car tags for both of my car and my husband's car, Go Wild ticket, which is that big planner conference that's going to be happening next year, I believe, in Las Vegas. I believe tickets go on sale starting January. And then I also have a category for our Philippines plane tickets, just for the plane tickets itself. And then we're going to start saving again for the food activities. We don't really have to worry about where we're going to stay, because we're going to be staying with family, which is great. And then at the bottom here, I just wrote myself a few notes of what we've had saved so far. Sorry, my alarm's going off. Okay, so some of the notes that I wrote down is how much we already have in our sinking fund, which is saved up for our car maintenance and for my mother-in-law's party. And Also, some notes for 2019 is how our income is going to be increased by the end of February and by the end of June. That way I know, I can keep in mind that we're going to have extra money in those months, or by the end of those months, so that we can save. And then for a go wild trip, just a reminder to start saving for the hotel, food, gas, or renting a car. We are going to drive there. And then saving for the rest of our Philippines trip. And then also wrote down for tax refund for next year to not expect too much. Our tax guy told us that there are a few changes, so we're not going to be getting as much as we did for the 2017 year. So, and then left that blank. I left this side blank because I think I'm going to carry this over month to month. And then I created a financial habit tracker for some of the two big things that I think we need to work on, which is our no spend, which I set a goal for not spending, at least having 15 no spend days, and then no takeout, which we've been actually pretty good on, but I think we can do a little bit better. And then also broke it down by week. Some notes by every week. I want to do a budget recap, have a budget meet with my husband, which is pretty quick. After I fill out everything for the week, I just go over it with him and then make sure he's still on board, which he always is. And then I want to make sure I meal plan every week. And then for the month, make sure I do a budget review, set up my budget setup at least a week early, which I did this week, so that I'm not overwhelmed or pressed for time. And I do like to make my budgets nice and clean and pretty, you know, using colors, because it helps me want to keep on track. And then I was going to get started on setting up my mid-month recap, but I wasn't sure how that's going to work out if we dip into our sinking fund. I want to make sure I set it up right. And then here is our debt snowball, which I'm going to carry over month to month. We did, in the month of August, pay for 2 items, which was for Landmark and Capital One. Actually, for Landmark, we just got a bill for $18. I guess it wasn't completely done, so I got to pay that off. $18 more. That's not a big deal, or I don't think it is. So in my debt snowball, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I did post this up, and what it has is a total of 17 debt items, and the balances that I have here is from June 15, 2018. I'm sure it went down, but on here I decided to use some stickers, make it look a little pretty, and put a couple of motivational quotes on the side to kind of keep it positive, because that's not the best, and I wish I was paying all of this to myself instead of debt. So, and in the back I wrote down our starting total debt, which is a little bit over 41K, and how much we spend monthly. I decided to put this down because it helps me keep in mind that money, instead of debt, could be going to us. So I like to have that number down. And then I gave us a goal of 18 months as of June. So hopefully by the end of 2019 we'll be done. And then start of September, I love this. It says there is always something to be thankful for. And in my September month, this is where I'm gonna keep track of all the bills, and I color coded it to where everything in red is all debt, anything in blue is all things for the home, and as you can see, there is a lot of things in red, which hopefully will start to go down. This is nice and clean, and I like to keep it that way, and I'll just check it off as I go. And then I added a goal list, which here I have 4 goals. One goal is to have 15 no spend days. The next one has to do with our debt snowball, which is pay half of our Wells Fargo balance at $508. And then another goal is to cut down the cost on our cell phone bill, which is ridiculous. As I was going through the bill, a lot of it, we're paying for things that we don't even use anymore. We just keep paying it. So we really need to go into AT&T and really cut that down. And then final goal is to plan. I believe that planning out your meals, your groceries, you know, all those kind of lists will help you, I would say, spend less time at the grocery store lingering around getting things you don't need and accumulating expense. So really plan for the things you actually need and not just want. So, which in our case is eliminating junk food, which is good for, you know, health reasons, plus eliminating those unnecessary expense. So that's what I decided to add this month. And then for the weekly, kept it nice and simple. I do like sectioning it off. In the sections, I still kept bills due, my husband's work hours. I like keeping track of his overtime, events and highlights for the day in case there's like birthdays, parties and stuff, so that I can keep in mind if I need to dip into our sinking fund for birthday gifts and all of that. And then I also have a section for sinking funds in our checking account, just to keep track of how much we're saving in our sinking fund. And then I, at the bottom, listed our budget categories. And for some reason I like color coding it. I think it looks, I can tell, like, let's say for gas, if anything's in orange, you know, then I know I got gas that week. But I'm trying something new to where I listed the starting balance for the month and then how much we used for the week. That way when I fill it out in my weekly recap, that I can just carry over that amount. So I think what I might do is just go ahead and start setting up the rest of the weeklies this way, so I don't have to think about it too much. So yeah, that's pretty much it with my September budget. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I really hope you would consider subscribing, and I will see you guys. That's my son in the background, so I think it's time for me to go. See you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.